Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe with season 4, The X-Files. It is episode 1. It is the season premiere. We've waited a whole entire summer. Remember those old days? And here we are. The second or the conclusion to last season's season finale. And we were left at a very precarious spot with Mulder and Jeremiah Smith and Scully about to face off with the alien bounty hunter played by Brian Thompson, aka our antagonist from Cobra, right? The Sylvester Stallone flick. I just looked the other day. I was really hoping I'd see that on 4K, but that has not been released on 4K. That's unfortunate because, boy, that would be a blast to put into my 4K collection and just a throwback to those good old days. But Herrenvolk is our season premiere, and just since we're beginning season 4, just remind everyone that I am currently working out of this beautiful collection, which goes from seasons 1 through 11 of the X-Files. Got this off of Amazon UK. And, I could have actually got it off the American Amazon site, but since it was Region B, it was the cheapest way, absolutely the cheapest way, Blu-ray, cheapest way to get it. And it's been fantastic, just being able to work out of that. But so here we are, season 4, 73 episodes under our belt, embarking upon number 74. And what's really cool is the one that follows Herrenvolk is the infamous Home. I think they had a really hard time getting that one on TV, but that'll be fun to revisit that one in good time. And here, as you see in my movie room, or at least in part, this was home for me and my family throughout the night last night, at least until about 4 in the morning. As if you caught any news yesterday at all, well, for me, I'm recording this on Sunday, so going through Saturday on into Sunday night, we had the just the blitzkrieg of storms unleashing tornadoes, Mississippi, Alabama, and then finally making their way into Tennessee and Georgia. Of course, that's where I'm at. And so I think our window was, I want to say it was like 2 to 4, 1 to 4, something like that. So that was sort of the window when we could expect. Now, come to find out this morning, one had dropped, not too far from us actually, but our little community, our niche here where I am, my house, everything is fine, and no property damage, thank God, no property damage. And about 4 o'clock, I think we broke out of here and went to our respective areas. This was not, it's a great room to sit in to watch a movie. It's not a great room to sleep in throughout the night. Just isn't built for that. And you get up to my age, that becomes more problematic, as they say. So Herrenvolk, enough about me, but really it's about so many that have lost homes, lost so much. Just an absolutely terrible series of storms that unleashed down here in the southeast, just southern part of the United States. Hope we don't see anything like this for a while again, But Herrenvolk, German word for master race. And let's just get off here. Right off the beginning, 3 things that are absolutely intriguing that begin to lay will continue to lay a foundation for much of the mythology that will be pushed forward. Mainly, I'm thinking of the movie that will bridge seasons 5 and 6. Fight the future. One of those is bees. Bees plays a very, very intricate role, not just in the beginning opening sequence, but later on in the show itself. Ends up being used as a sort of a makeshift stumbling block to the alien bounty hunter. So you got the bees. So really what you have here, you got a guy, it's in Alberta, Canada. You have a guy, a telephone lineman, stunt guy, actually, played by Garvin Cross. He was known for just a couple, but he did a lot of stunt work for things. Deadpool 2, Revenant, Ghost Protocol. He is climbing up the telephone pole to do some kind of, there's a work order of sorts. And I don't think we're told what the issue is exactly that draws him there, but he's gets up to the high point of opens up the box, starts doing his thing, and a bee starts to get a little too close to him and ends up stinging him. Well, not a big deal, right? Well, it is a big deal because it's the same bee, well, not like literally, but you know what I mean, same bee that will sting Scully in Fight the Future, and we remember what that did to her. And so we get to see the first impact of that, of what these bees are and what they are going to be used for. And so, unfortunately, this lineman falls victim. Now, as he gets stung, a group of 5 boys have wandered out of the field. We'll find out later what lies just beyond the field. Mulder and Jeremiah Smith will end up later, and a surprise guest of sorts. These 5 boys who look almost nearly identical. I think all of them have blonde hair. Could have all had blue eyes for all I know, but they all generally look, and he comments on it before the poison or the injection of the bee kind of kicks in. He notices the boys coming up and makes a comment that, just a comment of sorts, does your mom ever get any of you mixed up or whatever with the other? But you get this really weird, and it's not in the trivia. A lot of times IMDb puts a lot of interesting things in the trivia section, but there's no mention of this in the trivia at all. But you get a really eerie feeling or connection to Village of the Damned, that film from 1960. Extraterrestrial children, the impregnation that happens unbeknownst to the townspeople who wake up. This is in England. They wake up and find that a good portion, if not all, of the women have been impregnated. Of course, fathers have nothing to do with it. It's just sort of, right? Well, it just doesn't happen there. It happens at other locations around the globe. And when these locations start to wake up to realize the problem they have, we learn that, like, say, in Australia, sort of a fluke for the extraterrestrial children, they all die within 10 hours. So something doesn't take hold there. But then we learn there's also an Eskimo community where the children were all killed. In Mongolia, both the women and the children were killed. And in the Soviet Union, they actually did a nuclear strike on a village in order to wipe out that infestation of what just seemed not right. So it's interesting. There really does seem to be a real connection. Now, these children may all be benevolent clone workers. We hear, working in the flower fields that provide the pollen for the bees that will be used. I'm not sure how benevolent they are, in fact. But children of the damned, maybe not, but there's a really cool connection there nonetheless. So you've got the master race, the children, the bee connection. I think that's what I was sort of gunning for there. And before I get too far in, R.W. Goodwin returns. Of course, he directed the season finale and returns to continue his own story. Chris Carter, of course, continues to write, as he did with a lot of the mythology. Herrenvolk drops October 4th, 1996. And of course, again, it is episode 1 of season 4. So interesting. This is an interesting episode. It paces in an interesting way. You got this, once you get the telephone lineman sequence out of the way after the credits, you sort of dumped back into the end moments of the season finale with Mulder and Scully and Jeremiah Smith and the alien bounty hunter. And as he approaches, I think, Mulder and the alien bounty hunter, or Mulder and Jeremiah Smith run into the factory of sorts, or whatever that is exactly, run in there. Scully tries to impede his progress, but he just sort of knocks her out of the way. And there's a long chase inside the factory. Ultimately, you end up on the other side eventually, where Mulder is lying in wait and is able to stick the stiletto into the back of the alien bounty hunter. And surprisingly, this won't kill him, interestingly enough. As we learn, it supposedly does kill these alien terrestrials, whatever. But it won't kill this one. But it does buy Mulder and Jeremiah Smith enough time to get out of Dodge. But he leaves Scully behind, but I think he assumes the alien bounty hunter is dead. So that is going to be needed proof of all of this junk that is going on. So those two go off, and with intention to go heal Mulder's mom, who, remember, is still in the hospital. For all practical purposes, her character is going to die. And Mulder's only hope is Jeremiah Smith, but he makes a great case that everyone is going to be waiting there, and they don't care about protocol. They want me dead, and I won't be able to save your mother anyways. And so that begins the travel to an undisclosed area that we'll see something sort of like it in Fight the Future, but it is a sort of a habitation for the bees as they prepare for colonization, and of course the creation of a sort of master race people, right? And so they're on their way there, and the big surprise there that will unfold is Mulder will see Samantha as she was when she was abducted. Now we find out that she is just a clone, so it's not really Samantha, and we'll get quite a few of those along our journey. As you know, we'll see Samantha in her older self, we'll see her as a younger self, but never quite get our hands onto Samantha. So we'll see where the seasons take us. And so they head off there, and of course alien bounty hunter will be quick en route behind them. You got her mother in the hospital. You've got this great scene between the elder and the cigarette smoking man, who come to realization. Well, the elder provides the pictures we've seen in the previous episode to the cigarette smoking man, cancer man, that he in fact was photographed in his confrontation with Mulder's mother. Well, this comes as a surprise to him. Of course, we all know who it is. It's X. And so they don't know who it is, though. And so they begin the process of disseminating information to see the flow of information in order to sort of roost out the leak in the midst. And of course, we'll see this unfold towards the final moments of this particular episode. Cancer Man does seem quite concerned that someone is inside that is leaking this. We also come to find out that all the multiple Jeremiah Smiths, not only have they disappeared, except for the one that we're with, but working for the Social Security Administration, the SSA, they have been cataloging information data as though they are basically categorizing or cataloging peoples. For what purpose, we're not really told, but we find that both Scully and anyone who was old enough to have been vaccinated against smallpox would have been given the genetic code or marker that shows up on a protein strand, which Scully finds out is there. And so you kind of got that going on right on the side. You've got the then finally, and it kind of is a quick moving episode. There's not a whole lot there going on. You end up in a final confrontation when alien bounty hunter shows up on the scene. And Mulder and Jeremiah Smith and Samantha are rushed off very quickly. They take refuge in a sort of a bee honeycomb silo of sorts where there's no way out. And so they lay a trap for the alien bounty hunter, which involves pushing one of the huge honeybee catacombs or whatever, onto him, in which we think maybe he's finally met his demise. Of course, he has it, because a little bit further on, they stop, and Mulder's on a payphone trying to get a hold of Scully, and alien bounty hunter shows up once more driving a vehicle and ends up smashing into Jeremiah Smith and Samantha, presumably killing both. Of course, there's a confrontation between Mulder and the alien bounty hunter, in which case Mulder makes this point, which I think sort of helps to come back in the final moments of the episode, but he makes it very clear and plain to the alien bounty hunter that for his mother, he would be willing to die. Now, it's funny how that will come back, and it might even help with the ultimate resolution to that problem, that being his mother, who's basically, she's dying, right? And so Mulder is sort of left there, and as he makes his, ultimately, without Jeremiah Smith or Samantha, he makes his way back to the hospital where his mother is. I'm sure I'm probably forgetting something, but he makes his way back, and as he, of course, there's a legion of FBI troop wait, but they're there to protect Mulder, presumably protect him and Jeremiah Smith, and allow him to heal his mother. You hope. This is sort of what's being laid out, right? And so Mulder gets there, of course, though. We don't. I don't know if we'll see Mulder again quite like this till we see the episode entitled "The End." That is the season 5 finale, where he is just seemingly just destitute of hope. And so there he just, at his mother's bedside, Scully, as we'll see many times throughout the seasons of the X-Files, she will embrace him and hold him. And it is a very, very, it's a tough moment for any long-term X-File fan who is deeply invested in these characters. It's a touching, very, very touching moment. But they will leave, and they will, this leads to another great act towards the end. The flow of dissemination or information, the flow of information ultimately roots out or outs X. And X, being lured to Mulder's, I believe it's Mulder's apartment, realizes very quick that he's been duped, tries to make his way out of there, but to no avail. He will be gunned down, killed. He'll ultimately crawl to Mulder's doorway. I'm pretty sure it's either his or pretty sure it's Mulder's apartment. And he'll, in blood, write SRSG, I think it is, SRSG. Yeah, SRSG, the Special Representation for Secretary General, which he leaves the final ending clue. Mulder and Scully followed up by going, or Mulder goes there, and that's where we will meet Vanessa Morley's character for the first time. No, I'm sorry, she plays a Samantha clone. Laura Holden is who we will meet, who plays Marita Covarrubias, and we will see her in many episodes. I did think to look to see how many, but she'll make more major appearances. But we know her from The Walking Dead, of course, The Mist, and Pileggi, which I didn't realize she was in there. But this is her first appearance in the X-Files in this particular episode, and her first time in a communication between her and Mulder. So her character has made her debut. X is killed off. So begs the question, who will step in and be Mulder's new source of information or help? I guess stay tuned to see, right? One last major thing, I think, in the closing moments. Cancer Man is there, of course, at the bedside of Tina Mulder. And which is so weird to say because we're so used to hearing Mulder so much, you almost kind of get lulled into thinking that's his first name when it's actually Fox. But Tina Mulder is laying there, presumably very close to dying, and the alien bounty hunter makes his appearance, and suddenly you're like, "What is going on?" And so, cigarette smoking man will make his case that she needs to be healed. And of course, he's like, for what? And Cancer Man makes the point that the fiercest enemies are those who have nothing to lose. And so he sort of makes the case that you take Mulder's mother away, and you have just created, our worst version of an arch enemy who will go at all lengths to do whatever he has to. And so alien bounty hunter sort of buys in and applies the palm. Now, see, this is where we get palm again, right? It was the lamp, and it was for the alien stiletto, but now palm actually closes out a two-part show where initially, before she sort of loses consciousness, she writes the word palm. So it begs the question, was she giving a twofold message, or was she really thinking about, if you want me to be cured or healed, you're going to have to be a Jeremiah Smith or someone who can apply this healing power? But we learn early on that it does have, in fact, a twofold message. One that leads him to what was in his summer house, and ultimately, which is a weapon, and ultimately at the end. Now, one of the things, and we'll see with Home, I'm not expecting there to be any carryover from this episode, but one of the things that I often remember wishing that you would have got more in the X-Files was when you conclude such an important episode as Herrenvolk, you want in the next episode at least to be some dialogue, something written that sort of gives one last little bit of resolution, or at least connecting bridge that, yes, that just did happen. Okay, there might be some time, but that really did just happen. And we'll see in Home if there is any connecting bridge at all, period. I'm not expecting there to be any. We sort of go from mythology into Monster of the Week episodes. But those are the kind of things that I really wish you saw more of. Then again, it's how we film these shows, right? It's not always in the order you think they are. Sometimes they're filmed way out of order, but they're put in place a specific order. And so, anyways. So I think that really just sort of, and I know this one went a little longer. Man, we just recorded our latest Graveyard podcast, and matched up The Burning with In a Violent Nature. That ended up being a really fun night. So look for that in the coming week to drop it. When that drops, I always put it in my, my community or post thing on my channel. And this coming Friday, we will be recording another collaboration video for Body Bags. And this time we'll be looking at our top 5 roundtable discussion of George A. Romero, and our top 5 of his filmography. Very much looking forward to that. And remember 59th Survivor VHS and Cinephile World Order. If you haven't checked out their channels, definitely check those 2 out. Give them a sub. As always, we end these things off with Go Bills. Can't believe we're in season 4. Yes.
This is not a dream. Not a dream.
We might be useful to you.